All right, today we're dropping into a pretty unique virtual classroom to see a powerful idea in modern education take shape. We're going to see what happens when a teacher stops being just an instructor and becomes a partner. Let's get into it.
Everything starts with this one line from the teacher, Elon. He says this to his students. Now just let that sink in. A teacher in a classroom saying he doesn't want to work alone. Right there, in that one sentence, the whole traditional top-down classroom model gets flipped on its head. It really sets the stage for something different.
So, where are we? We're inside this virtual world. Elon and his students are staring at a totally empty digital space. And their mission? They've got to build an entire city of museums for the jobs of the future. And they're starting from scratch. I mean, it's literally a blank canvas.
But, before they can build anything amazing, reality hits. A student's microphone isn't working. And we hear all the troubleshooting. Try this. Wait, is that a laptop or a desktop? It's a little messy, a little chaotic. And you know what? It's totally real. This shows us right away this isn't some polished, perfect lesson plan. It's a real class with real problems.
Okay, so once the mic is finally working, the real work can start. And this is where we get to see this incredible dynamic between Elon and his students. It's not about just following a list of instructions. It's all about creating something together, as a team.
And just look at how the ideas start to flow. The teacher, Elon, he just presents the problem, this big empty space. But the first creative move, it comes from a student, Maya. She just says, a floor. Not a building, not a museum, just the absolute foundation. And from there, the teacher doesn't take over. He just makes it possible. And then, we get this really critical moment. After they get that first digital brick down, Elon tells them, now you have all the permissions. He's basically handing over the keys to the kingdom. He's giving them the power to build, to experiment, to even mess up, and to create whatever they want in this world. This is it. This is the moment he officially hands over control.
This is what Elon says to a parent, and it just gets to the absolute heart of how he teaches. So what is really going on here? This isn't just a fun class where they play a game. We're actually watching a pretty profound educational concept play out in real time.
What we're seeing is a perfect example of what education experts call an educational partnership. It's a really deliberate shift away from that old-school way of teaching we're all familiar with. So here's the key idea. We're moving away from the teacher as the sage on the stage, the expert who just pours information into students' heads. Instead, the teacher and the students work together. They actually co-create the whole learning experience, just like Elon's class is co-creating this virtual city.
So what does it actually mean to be a full partner? Well, it means students are doing all this stuff. Just think back to what we saw. A student came up with the very first idea, they all jumped in to solve little building problems, and they all took ownership of creating that first street. Their voices were shaping the project from the get-go.
Okay, so this all sounds really nice, right? But does it actually work? Well, the research says, yep, it absolutely does. And the benefits are huge. We can actually see the proof right there in Elon's classroom. The first huge win that studies point to is that students develop this really powerful sense of ownership and independence. They start to see that they can figure things out for themselves. They're capable.
And this quote just captures it perfectly. During the build, it gets a little messy, and a student accidentally puts an object in the wrong place. But instead of asking for help, he says, wait, I'll fix it. And a second later, you hear this triumphant, wow, I did it. That wow, that's the sound of autonomy being born. It's that amazing feeling of figuring it out on your own.
And that feeling isn't just a one-off thing. The research consistently points to these three key outcomes. When students are true partners, their engagement just skyrockets, their autonomy grows, and, maybe most importantly, their actual academic achievements get better.
Now, we have to be honest here. This way of teaching, it's not easy. It really demands a huge shift in mindset, not just for the students, but especially for the teacher.
And this right here is the biggest hurdle. Remember those messy moments we heard when objects were getting copied dozens of times or built in the wrong spot? Well, the teacher has to be okay with that bit of chaos. They have to let go of control, and in turn, the students have to learn how to handle that new freedom. It's a learning curve for everybody.
So the teacher's role completely transforms. They go from being the source of all information to becoming what researchers call a learning architect. Think about it. They're not building the house themselves. Instead, they're designing the blueprint, providing the tools, and setting up the structure so the students can do the building.
In the end, this partnership model doesn't make the teacher less important. It actually makes them more powerful. They become a new kind of leader, a pedagogical leader whose main job is to help grow students who are independent, super engaged, and feel like they have a real stake in their own education.
And that brings us to this final, really powerful question Elon asks his students. The whole project, remember, is about jobs of the future. But Elon totally reframes it. He's suggesting that in a world that's changing so fast, the real question isn't about one specific job title. It's about being ready for any opportunity that comes your way. And by teaching like this, by building partnership and problem-solving skills, he's not just helping them build a virtual city, he's actually preparing them for that future.